Let's find out what's happening with Terry Bowden and the Akron Zips as we talk to the head coach of the University of Akron. There's an excitement around InfoCision Stadium and the University of Akron campus as we embark on the second year of head coach Terry Bowden's regime. You take a look at how the Akron Zips fared in the last couple of seasons, and you see there the quantum leap that Coach Bowden and his football team took on the offensive side a season ago. With that, we welcome in the head coach of the Akron Zips, and as we told you last year, delighted to have the Bowden name and the Bowden family in the Mid-American Conference. Terry, great to see you, and as you embark upon this 2013 season, right off the top, what did you find out about your Akron Zips squad a year ago in terms of the building process that you need to cement stability with the program?
I mean, well, the first thing you want to make sure is you have the right attitude, that you believe in your program, that you believe in your new staff, you believe in what we're doing. And I think we saw that. The players, in all but one or two games, we're in the game to the fourth quarter. We're fighting until the very end. There's no give up and not losing big. A lot of losing close games. So I think you had the attitude. You're not the losing culture, but a chance the kids go out there and feel like they can win. Now, the next thing's got to be an addition of talent throughout the team, whether it be freshmen or seniors. So the talent level's got to improve, but I think the attitude with the team, the believing in each other is there.
Terry, last year, and I've been there. I feel your pain, believe me. But last year, you had 4 losses by 8 points or less. A couple of them were excruciating losses. Just talk about that, what it takes to win close games and where you're at there.
Well, winning begets winning. I think the confidence that comes from winning games, nothing can replace that. And so it's very hard when you lose a close game, and you still have to keep your guys going. But you've got to remember, not only were we at our lowest point in our program, but the conference right now is in its highest point. We may improve, but we had 7 bowl teams in the conference. Our non-conference teams were in bowl games, and so there's not a lot of room for error. So we don't just have to improve. We've got to improve even more than some of our opponents are improving. And so you just have to keep them believing in. And this is the 5th program I've taken over, and all but one of those were losing programs that you've had to go through a process. Sometimes you change it right away. When I went to Auburn in '93, we won 20 games. I don't know why it happened, but we won 20 games before we ever lost a game. And yet when I go all the way back to my beginning career, 30 years ago at Salem, we lost our first 7 and then started winning. So I think you've got to go through the process. Everything is still in place at Akron. The beautiful facilities, the commitment by the university, the incredible recruiting area that we're in. It's just that we're at a point in time where the MAC is at its best right now. I think the conference is the best it's ever been, and we're going to have to be real good just to have a good record.
Physical plant, very, very impressive. No question about that, as Coach Bowden just alluded to. I love the dichotomy that you have with your coordinators. Yeah. We were just talking about Chuck Amato,
right,
who spent so much time with Terry's father, Bobby, at Florida State. And then you have young A.J. Milwee on the offensive side. He was your quarterback in North Alabama. So you've got the grizzled veteran and the young Turk coming up as your coordinators. How has that developed and worked for you?
Well, I named A.J. Milwee offensive coordinator this year because I thought it's ready. He's ready to be developed. I've always tinkered with the offense, called plays, and it's been my baby. I often think because I wasn't quite big enough to get off the bench when I was in college, I still like to play the game. So playing the game is what I like to do more than coach the game. And so, but I need a good young coordinator on offense to develop. And everywhere I've been, that's kind of what I've done. I found a young guy that I believed in, that's sharp like AJ is, a son of a coach, a quarterback, a gym rat. And then you just began to learn it and began to take it away from me. Now, defensively, I don't fool that baby. I've always had a defensive coordinator that can handle that whole thing, and I stay out of his way, stay out of his hair. And, of course, Chuck Amato has those capabilities of just running that defense. Now, offensively, as you saw the stats, you can scheme people offensively. You can hurry up, no huddle, fast break, scheme people and get you some points and some numbers. But I think you have to have talent on defense, and I think that's where we have to recruit people that can allow Chuck to implement his style of play, a very aggressive style, and that comes a little bit slower on defense because I think you got to be talented to tackle in the open field, and you can scheme some people offensively.
Terry, Dalton Williams came in last year as a transfer senior quarterback. I mean, he had a heck of a year. Talk about your new guy running this offense now, Kyle Pohl.
Yeah, Kyle Pohl. Dalton Williams, again, we were so proud for him to come in and have the career coming out of Stephen F. Austin breaking the touchdown record at Akron and signing with the Cowboys. I was so happy for him to have the success in his career. He wanted to win more games. But it did allow us to bring Kyle Pohl along a little bit slower. Kyle Pohl, a redshirt freshman last year, just an abundance of talent. I believe he has got an NFL arm. He's got the abilities to throw everything that we throw. And we were able to bring him along at a much better pace. I mean, I don't know if we'd lost any more games using him, but I think you could have hurt him by putting him in too early and putting him in that situation that he wasn't quite ready. But by the last game, Toledo, he played almost the entire game, showed some real signs, and he's shown real leadership. So he's got 3 years of eligibility. And of all the quarterbacks I've had at the places I've been, I see as much big-time potential out of Kyle as I've had of any of my quarterbacks.
Speaking of big-time potential on the offensive side of the football, we very much like Juwan Chisholm and what type of an explosive back that he can be. And he seems to find the end zone as well. How much, you talk about your fast break style, but how much does that incorporate his talents and getting him the football as much as possible?
Well, whenever you can spread people out and make them cover 3 or 4 wide receivers, then it's going to open up the inside lanes, and you've got to have a guy that can make the plays like that. So Juwan Chisholm did a great job in our zone. It was not what he ran before I got here, the spread. He was more of an I formation back, but he got comfortable with it, and he's kind of a reckless runner. I don't know where he's going to run half the time because he'll start to the right, end up on the sideline to the left, and so you don't always know, but the defense doesn't know either.
Right.
So he is a tough, hard-nosed running back. He's just been under 1,000 yards 2 years in a row. He's got a couple of years left, and so we really look for him to be even better. He's about 205 pounds. He's got very good speed, but he's just a very, very tough, reckless, crazy leg runner that fits in nice. We've got to run the ball better. We had about 114-yard average last year, and even for a passing team, nowadays, if you look at the top passing teams even in the country, they're getting closer to that 175, 200 yards, whether that comes from the running back or also the quarterback, which we didn't have any running with the quarterback. There's got to be some more rushing yardage with our offense.
Terry, I got to tell you, it's so great to see you on the sideline again. We both enjoy that very much. But I'll tell you what's really, really neat to me is to watch you signal those plays.
Right.
No play call sheet, no nothing, man. You're going 1,000 miles an hour.
Well, you know, there's some things you've done. Now, this is my 20th year as a head coach. You know, I just got back from my reunion, my 30th reunion, Salem College, 1983.
There you go.
I was 26 years old, and that was my first year as a head coach. I like to say I made most of my mistakes with nobody watching. You know, 200 or 300 people in the stands, you know, but we had a great time at our reunion. And then 20 years ago, I was at Auburn calling plays. So over the years, I think you learn your offense. And, and I think if you have to spend too much time looking at a play sheet, you don't know your play sheet. And so I love, you know, I think back when I got in, we were still shuffling in subs, you know, calling the play, sending it in with a running back or a wide receiver, then him coming out, and then we got to where we started signaling, and now it's fast break as fast as you can go. But you know, it's funny. There's 2 games being played out there in football today. It's the tempo communication game that we play. How fast and how quickly can we get plays in to keep the defense offset? And then how good can you execute those things? So there's 2 games always being played, the communication game, and then there's the actual football being played.
Yeah. Home games against Ohio Ball State that you'll see here on the ESPN family of networks. Kent State. Should be a very exciting year for Terry Bowden and the Akron Zips. Coach, great to see you.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Appreciate that.
Thanks, Terry.